Let's try that again. What's going on, everybody? Let's try that again. YouTube's already giving me grief. Steve Shaw here, editorial director at tigerfitness.com. I'm going to do a live video. Marc is down in Texas, I believe. I don't know what he's doing down in Texas. He's visiting, promoting MTS Nutrition, getting in all kinds of trouble down there. I'm going to be handling the live video today, and I'm trying to get everything all pulled up. I want to dive into a topic that I found on the worldwide interwebs, and it was an article that was called 14 Exercises You Should Never Do Over the Age of 50. I'm going to talk about this a little bit, and then I'm going to get into Q&A, so I'll be on doing the Q&A for about 20 to 30 minutes. Lacey's customer service is hanging right outside eating, trying to tell me, get in here. All right, 14 exercises you should never do when you're over 50. Let me know what you think about it. Drop it in the comment section below. Running stairs is number 14. Number 13 is hot yoga. Apparently, being warm is dangerous when you're over 50. Being warm is dangerous as you age. Number 12 is high intensity interval training or HIIT cardio. Apparently, when you're over 50, you shouldn't raise your heart rate when you're doing cardio. Number 11 is spin class. Number 10 is push-ups. You shouldn't do push-ups when you're over 50. I don't know why. Apparently, they're very dangerous as you age. Number 9, squats with weights. That's how they put it, but it's actually barbell squats. Apparently, compound movements are extremely dangerous when you're old like me. So I must stop immediately because I'm over 50. 7 burpees, 6 pull-ups, another dangerous body weight exercise, pull-ups. 5 crunches, 4 deadlifts. Of course, deadlifts make the list. 3 jumping lunges. Well, jumping lunges is kind of, stupid anyway, so just do regular lunges. 2 sprints, that's a little bit redundant, since this article told us not to run stairs or do high-intensity interval training, so that's a little bit redundant. And number 1, the leg press. So, on this list of this article, and again, the article is 14 exercises you should never do over the age of 50. You have leg press, you have deadlift, you have pull-ups, you have bench press, you have squats, you have push-ups, and you have HIIT cardio. So, you know what? You pretty much can't do anything other than cable curls and maybe cable tricep extensions. That's all you can do when you're over the age of 50. That is according to a major news source, and I'm not going to reference which news source this is, but this is a type of content being put out on major news sources regarding resistance training. All right, guys, I'm going to do a Q&A. Let me know what you think of this wonderful news story. And you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm going to be here for about 20 minutes. We're going to have the outright bars in stock real soon. I can't give you guys a specific date, but it's going to be very soon. Latif says number 14 was stairs. Yeah, running stairs is apparently dangerous when you're over the age of 50. Let's see. Somebody says, what about sex? You know, if you can't do HIIT cardio, you probably don't need to be doing sex over the age of 50 as well. David Weeks says, best exercises to get better at pull-ups. Honestly, one of the best ways to get better at pull-ups is to do them frequently. What's going on, Robert? To do them frequently. I usually recommend folks do them 2 days on, 1 day off, or 1 day on, 1 day off, and just take a 2-minute block and do as many as you can in that 2-minute block, and look at how many the volume of pull-ups you can get in those 2-minute blocks over the course of the week, and just try to progress week in and week out. That's a really good approach. I believe that is the best way to attack pull-ups, is to do them frequently. Let's see, Andrew says, and people wonder why the obesity rate is so high in the older generation. It's a load of garbage. You know, I agree with you, Andrew. It's a complete load of garbage. If we get to the point at age 50 where we can't do these exercises, something is really wrong. You're talking to an individual that has stayed in shape most of his life. Even though I got obese, I was still a power lifter, and I was still taking care of my body in some way, shape, or form. If you cannot do this type of movement when you're over the age of 50, you have a serious problem, and you probably need to find a way to build your conditioning so you can do these exercises. Certainly, you don't want to do them with bad form, or you don't want to abuse your body. But saying you can't do push-ups or squats over the age of 50, or even do HIIT cardio, is simply ridiculous. Let's see. So if you live in a 2-story house, you can't use the top part. Damn, no. Well, you can. You just have to gently walk up the stairs so you don't break a femur. Let's see. Douglas Allen says, I'm 60. I can do it, and 315 bench press, squat, and deadlifts. Way to go, Douglas. I'll be 51 this year, and I don't have any intention of slowing down and avoiding squats. Latif says, is skipping post-workout meal while hitting your daily macros okay? Absolutely. Look, lifting and nutrition is a long journey, and you have to look at things over the long run. There's going to be ups and downs and spikes and bad days and good days and days where you can't eat post-workout. Overall, it doesn't really matter when you eat, as long as you're getting in your macros and calories. Now, with that said, is it optimal to eat something when you feel hungry? Yeah, if you're feeling hungry, you probably should be eating something. But you know what? If you can't eat something post-workout, you still, if you're still getting in your calories and protein during the day, you're going to be fine, because your body is going to respond to resistance training. And as long as you're getting in your daily calories and protein, you will be okay. Let's see. Black Scorpion Fitness says, what's up, Steve? How's it going? I'm going on 38. However, what about dumbbell chest flies? I feel the older I get, the harder it is to perform certain exercises. I'm right there with you. And one thing that age has taught me is that some exercises really tend to beat up my body. Now, I believe, and this is just my opinion, that when you're young, your body is able to, things aren't as apparent. How these exercises are beating up your body isn't as apparent when you're younger. When you're older, you kind of notice the way these exercises are beating up your body. Flies are an exercise like that for me. It's an exercise that I always feel it in my shoulders. So when I'm doing flies, I have to kind of lock it in this position right here when I do them, and I don't do them that frequently. I have to kind of lower my elbows and do this more when I'm doing flies. It just feels better on my shoulders. In general, when you're doing a press type of movement and your elbow is up relative to your shoulder position, it can put a lot of strain generally on your shoulders. So I find when doing flies, I have to be more aware of the elbow position, especially as an older guy. Let's see. Harut says, any exercises to avoid for taller guys, some to emphasize? I don't know. I mean, that's a hard one for me to answer. I'm 5'10". I wouldn't consider myself super tall. I can't really say that there's any specific exercises to avoid while taller. There's different ways to do the compound movements that might be more advantageous. We did a series with a gentleman that's a good friend of mine who is a Tiger Fitness affiliate, and we talked about adjusting the major compound movements for tall guys. You can find the videos here on the YouTube channel, squats and deadlifts for tall guys, and you can find the articles over at Tiger Fitness as well, so check those out. Let's see. William says, should older people take creatine? Yeah, absolutely. Creatine is the most researched supplement in the industry, probably outside of whey protein. We know what it does. It has no downsides. It has only positive potential upsides, increases in power and energy, whatever. It's inexpensive to boot. So yeah, absolutely. There's no reason not to take it at all. Stay Salty says, why won't you do the wiffle waffle? Here's the honest answer as to why I won't do the wiffle waffle. Because, Stay Salty, I am old and have no idea what the wiffle waffle is, because I'm too busy lifting heavy ass weight. Next question, Stay Salty. All right, so honestly, I have no idea what it is. I'm too busy doing stuff to care what the wiffle waffle is. So good luck. If you want to send your wiffle waffle videos to Tiger Fitness, we'd love to see you do the wiffle waffle, whatever that is. Hopefully it's not vulgar. I don't have any clue. All right, guys, I'm going to be on for at least another 15, 20 minutes. If you have any questions, post them up. Angel says, what do you think about training with the biomechanics of the body? What do you think about training with? Are you talking about what do I feel about working with the body to adjust exercises? Absolutely. One should always do that. Everyone has different, bone lengths and different strong and muscle groups that are strong and different leverages. You always have to adjust the major lifts to those leverages. That's why one size fits all training advice or form advice for the squat, bench, and deadlift is rather ridiculous. And you can ask any experienced trainer the same question, and they'll give you the same answer. You always have to make adjustments based on the specific individual. Let's see, Roger Miller says, how old is old? Old really has to do with how you treat your body and how you let yourself go. I know a lot of people in their 30s that look and feel old, and I know a lot of guys my age, and they're very rare, but I know guys in their 50s and 60s. There's a guy on a Facebook group I know that's 70 and squatting 315. So old really has to do with how you feel. There's a lot of guys that take care of themselves and do not feel old. When is the best time to take a cheat meal? I don't really believe in cheat meals because that implies that you're restricting certain foods. I believe in balance in life. What do I mean by balance? You eat healthy 80 to 90% of the time, and then you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that when you're hungry. Now, if you're so unbalanced that let me backtrack a little bit. If you feel the need to binge eat a food, if you feel a need to binge eat pizza or nachos or whatever, and when I mean binge eat, I mean not just have a serving of something, which is a healthy way to live, but if you feel like going out on the weekend and eating 6,000 calories of donuts and pizza, that's a mental issue, man. I mean, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. When should you binge eat? That's like asking the question, when should you binge drink? I don't believe in that stuff. I have whatever I want when I want, as long as it's within reason. So that's a healthier approach in my opinion. Stay Salty says, thank you. I will now retire to my cave. Thank you. Don't retire to your cave. Stay salty. We want you to stay here and stay salty. All right. Justin Adams says, balance is one slice of pie, not three. You're right. Balance is tasting the pie, not wanting to eat the whole pie. If you want to eat the whole pie, you have some kind of a food issue. I don't believe in deprivation. I mean, God bless the folks that are very restrictive in competing in bodybuilding, but they probably have earned the right to binge one day after their competition. But for the rest of us, binge eating is a mental issue. You really don't want to be binge eating. Let's see. Bubby says, I've noticed in the last few months my eccentric movements are feeling very shaky. Is that a CNS issue? You know what? Here's a possibility. I noticed that my eccentrics on my bench press started to feel really weak or slow or shaky. And it was because I wasn't building up my biceps and triceps enough. I wasn't working them enough. So that's one possibility. You could be working the major movements a lot and not really focused on the minor muscle groups like hamstrings, like core, like arms, calves, so on. So if you're not, I would focus on working the minor muscle groups and bringing them up. If you have an issue with shakiness beyond that, I can't really say because that's not normal. That could be some kind of that could be your body fighting off something, pretty serious. That's not a normal condition. When you're a beginner, you're going to feel some neuromuscular issues. But if you're feeling neuromuscular issues as an experienced lifter, that's not typically normal if it continues for an extended period of time. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to speculate why, but I can tell you that's not normal. Latif says, is it true that compound movements are the best for building the muscle from scratch? Absolutely. When you are in the gym, you have a limited amount of time. You want to make the most of that time. The best use of that time is going to be compound movements. because they target more areas of the body with more tonnage. What is tonnage? It is overall weight. Sets and reps times the weight you use, or reps times the weight you use. So if you squat 300 pounds for 30 reps in a workout, you do 30 reps times 300 pounds. That is tonnage. So squats not just provide a tonnage of weight, but they provide it over a wider range of muscle groups. They are your best bet. You will always want to incorporate them into your workout. Let's see, Save Ferris says, I've become more interested in training for cardiovascular health recently as I find myself growing older, but I really don't know how to work it in. I generally lift 3 days a week. All right, Save Ferris, you're talking to me, who was a pretty good power lifter. And I work it in when I want to work it in. You don't want to do cardio before lifting weights. You can do cardio after you lift. You can do cardio first thing in the morning and then lift later at night, or you can do cardio on off days. Don't really worry about the whens. Do it when it's convenient. Enjoy it. Don't worry if it's going to impact your gains. It won't really impact your gains. It might take you 3 or 4 weeks to adapt to doing cardio and weights at the same time, but overall you're going to be fine. Let's see. Denise says, is it true that you cannot build muscle on maintenance calories? Absolutely not true. And how is it when you're almost in your second year of training? Should one do cut, bulk, cycle? You can build muscle. It's just easier when you are eating more calories. But you can certainly build muscle on a maintenance level. It's just a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult than if you're building muscle with more calories. Protein and calories helps the body to recover. And the more you restrict your fuel and your building blocks, the more the body has to use those resources for vital functions, like your brain, like your maintaining your lungs and blood health and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you don't want to get obese, all right? You don't want to eat too much food, but you certainly, if you're restrictive on your food, it's going to make it more difficult for you to build muscle. The second part of your question, should one bulk or cut? You know what? I'm not really big into bulking or cutting cycles. I'm big into just eating a little bit more food than you should and attacking that for a long period of time. If you're gaining so much fat that you need to consider cutting when you're lifting, then you're probably bulking too aggressively. But it really comes down to the individual. Let's put it this way, if you have so much fat that it bothers you mentally and you just are like, I'm too fat, I got too much fat, you probably should cut and get the fat off and go back to a more reasonable diet. I hope that helps. All right, 53 is a new 33. It is if you believe it is, and I do. I mean, I'm 50 and just ran a trail marathon, still train hard, and I feel absolutely fine. So let's see. Shakar says, are doing behind the neck shoulder presses healthy? Some good exercises for the front delt. So he's got 2 shoulder questions. First off, you don't need to do front delt exercises. The front delts are worked a lot with pressing movements, with horizontal pressing movements, and with vertical pressing movements. Experienced bodybuilders or lifters usually have overdeveloped front delts. So there's really no need to do front delt work, in my opinion. You get enough of that. Are behind the neck presses dangerous? Well, you want to have your wrists over your elbows first off in behind the neck presses, and you probably don't want the bar to go below the bottom of your ear. So you can see your elbow should not dip far below your shoulder. If you're going down this far, the further down your elbow is in the behind the neck press, the more strain it's going to generally place upon your shoulder. I did them for 20 years. I was perfectly healthy, but I used these rules. I did not bring the bar down below the lower part of the ear, and I always try to keep the wrists above my elbows, and I was perfectly fine. Mileage may vary. That means that some of you just won't like them, and if they feel awful, do not do them. Justin Adams says, I think core strength becomes more of an issue as you get older. As you get older, it's more important that you remain well-rounded because you don't want any weaknesses in your armor. So you want a strong core, you want strong calves. Even if you have big calves, you still should work them a little bit to maintain some of your strength. you don't want any weaknesses in your armor when you get old. You want to maximize everything. Let's see. Bobby says, yeah, I neglected my accessory movements a lot because I haven't had a lot of time. That could have something to do with it, Bobby. Get your arms strong, get your hamstrings strong, do more than the compound movements, and let me know how that works out for you. Jezzo says, Bill Cosby got sentenced to prison today, 10 years, and I hear he wants to start lifting weights. What routine would you recommend for a man his age? He should probably do a lot of push-ups and pull-ups. That's it. A lot of push-ups and pull-ups and maybe crunches in his prison bed. All right, let's see. Siam Reina says, is full body split 5 times a week good or bad? No, you don't need to do it like that. You don't need to do 5 days a week full body. You need some rest. You're going to overwork the movement patterns. You're going to smash your joints up. If you want to train 5 days a week, there is a right and wrong way to do it, but it is probably not best for full body. One could do that, but you would have to pull back the volume of exercises you do each day and cycle between compound movements and more isolation movements. But you really would have to be careful and not do intensity or compound movements every single day. But even then, there's no reason. If you want to be in the gym 5 days a week doing a full body workout, you're probably better doing an upper lower rotation, upper lower off, upper lower off, upper lower off. That gets you in the gym like 4 and 2/3 times per week or something like that. That's a better way. Let's see. Liverett says, thank you for your time. Love the Tiger Fitness family. Thank you for supporting Tiger Fitness. Denise says, thank you so much for your answer. You bet. Hope it was helpful. High Thumb says, am I too late in starting lifting at 35? Absolutely not. The big hairy ugly dude is 50. You can even if you're in your 40s, you can become incredibly strong and fit. I am 50, nearing 51, and I have never been more physically fit in all kinds of ways. Body weight exercises, conditioning, weights, hard work, and more than hard work, it's smart work. So train smart. Dustin says, how accurate do you think machines are that measure calories burned? Just got off a treadmill, blah, blah, blah. It says I burned 250 calories in 25 minutes. It could be accurate. I mean, machines estimate. They estimate, they can estimate versus the variables they're programmed for. Time, the incline, and ones that know your weight can factor that into the equation. So it's going to be dependent on how many variables you can input into the thing, and they'll be reasonably accurate based on the number of variables that they are monitoring. Let's see. Justin says, I have issues with overhead presses due to shoulder dislocations from years ago. What might my options be for shoulders? So if you can't press overhead, the only thing you can really do is move the arms in this position. You might try something like a landmine press where you have a barbell wedged down below you and you're pressing like this, more pressing straight ahead rather than having the shoulder back. That might feel better for your shoulders. I do something called a bulldozer lateral where I do a single arm lateral and then I superset it with dumbbell upright rows. You could try that. And you might try you might just try a machine press with a lower weight. Or just dumbbell overhead presses with lower weights and more volume, see how that feels. Let's see. Brian Stevens says, bicep tendonitis, will it go away if you stop training biceps? I have many videos on elbow tendonitis. The best thing you can do is get a pair of VersaGrips and just relax your grip a little bit. All that gripping you do during back training, particularly back training, really contributes to elbow tendonitis. So the first thing you can do is, if you have really bad elbow tendonitis, is get some VersaGrips and just try to relax your grip a little bit and let the VersaGrips do a lot of the gripping. That will relax your grip and it'll help relieve the symptoms of elbow tendonitis. The second thing you can do is stop overtraining your biceps. A lot of guys are doing 9, 12, 15 sets for biceps a week. pull your biceps work back to about 6 sets. Those 2 steps alone will help your tendonitis. I've told many people that over the years, and it's helped many, many people. See what we got here. Latif says, what is the best time to take a day off other than the official day off? The best time to take a day off is when you feel like you need a day off, either for mental or physical reasons. If your body is beat up, then take a day off at the gym. If your body's really beat up, take 2 or 3 days off at the gym. I don't like scheduling deloads. I like to take my time away from the gym and let it be more intuitive. And you know, if you're mentally just burned out, you can either take a day off or just go in the gym and play. Sometimes we just need some time just to go into the gym and play and not put so much pressure upon ourselves. Let's see, is working out the same muscle group every day really bad for you? It can be really bad for you. What do I mean? If you did compound movements every day for the same muscle group, you can overwork that movement pattern and beat the crap out of your body. Training has 3 tiers, basically. Volume, which is the amount of tonnage you do, sets and reps and weights. Intensity, which is your weight relative to 1 rep max, and frequency. If you do something frequently, you have to pull back the volume and intensity of the work you're doing each day. Along with that, if you're doing frequent training, you shouldn't be doing compound movements every day. You have to pull back the intensity or weight relative to your 1 rep max, or pull back a little bit on the intense compound movements. So training a muscle group every day can be bad if you do it incorrectly, but you just have to understand the variables. Let's see here. What do you think of bodybuilding plus diet on point and no supplements, just omega-3 and multivitamins? Supplements are just that. They're supplements. I mean, they're if you're doing everything correctly and you don't have an issue taking in enough protein, or you don't need like a greens powder because you're getting enough fruits and vegetables. Supplements provide a specific solution, a specific aid to specific things. Like, everybody's different. You might have a stress issue and you might find things like ashwagandha or whatever to be of benefit. You might have issues with sleeping and you might want to try melatonin. You might not like fish, or you might need you might be on a cutting diet and you want like omega-3s, omega-6s, you want some fish oil just as a backup plan. There's many reasons to use supplements that can provide a benefit. Things like creatine can help performance. Creatine with beta-alanine, they kind of work very synergistically. A pre-workout is good if you're in school and you're not sleeping enough, or if you want to push for muscle pumps or whatever. So you don't need these things. It's a matter of personal assessment to see what you do need and what can be of benefit based on your judgment. Let's see. I have horrible arms. Should I actually try to train them with isolation movements or just stick to compound? Absolutely train them with isolation exercises. Anybody that tells you not to should not be listened to. I've been training for 32 years, and I tried training just compound movements for 2 years. I was a strong SOB, but what I learned was my arms lost an inch of size, even with just intense, heavy compound movements. I'm talking chain bench presses for 500 pounds, squats with chains well into 650, deadlifts over 700 pounds. I was a strong man, but I did not do isolation movements, and I lost size on my legs and on my arms. And not only that, but that weakness that developed really started to impact my eccentrics on the movement and started to cause strains and pain. So anybody that tells you not to do isolation movements doesn't have a complete education. I hesitate to call them a fool, but they're very dogmatic and they are incorrect. You should absolutely do isolation exercises for smaller body parts. Let's see. Dustin says, every time I try to go as intense as I can and superset an entire workout, I get lightheaded. That's because your workout's intense, Dustin. Hey, you can't, if you're gonna work out intense, you're gonna get lightheaded, you're gonna get foggy, that's just part of the thing. If you're throwing up, man, you're working out too intense. You don't work out to beat up the body, you work out to improve and to build muscle and to progress. And if you're throwing up or you're getting lightheaded, you need to change your program and go to something that fits you better, because that is not a good plan. Bill says, hello, I'm Bill. Hello, Bill. I am Steve. Nice to meet you, Bill. All right. Last question from Jezzo. Can you gain muscle lifting with resistance bands only? Yes. Is it going to be a lot? No, not at all. You're better off doing a lot of body weight exercises, rest pause body weight exercises. You can use the bands in concert with body weight exercises. Let's see. And also, he says, I don't qualify for donating blood. Are there any other options? I have no idea. I mean, you could donate your brain. No, I'm just being facetious. I have no idea, man. I don't really know what it requires to donate plasma or anything. Let's see. I'm going to be on for a couple more minutes, guys. I'm going to drop off, so if you have a question, get it up here now. Hulkamaniac says, how much protein when we are old? Not being facetious, but the same amount of protein as when you're young. At minimum, if you're a guy, you want to get in 150 grams. For a woman, probably 100 and 110 grams at minimum. Now, for a woman, you could probably go up to 140, 150. For a man, up to about 200, 220. That's a good target range. But you know what? You should eat about the same no matter what your age is. As you get older, if your metabolism slows, you want to build muscle. It'll speed up your metabolism. It'll help you speed up your metabolism. But if you eat less food, you probably, you still want to maintain that muscle mass. So you probably want to eat the same amount of protein, just dial back your carbs just a little bit. Let's see, Latif says, I did intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, Latif, I think you mean intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting sounds a little bit too intimate, a little too sexual. I'm not going to go there on this channel. Let's see. And when I worked out on an empty stomach, my weights went up. I did variations of intermittent fasting and intermittent fasting for 5 years, and I got strong. So there's really no issue with it if it works for you. Let's see, Anthony Duvall, what do you think of the shoulder press? Doug Brignol says they only work the front delts. No, that's not true at all. That is not true. Anybody that tells you the overhead press only works the front delts has a couple bolts and screws and springs missing from their mechanisms. You can quote me on that and let Doug know what I said. Let's see, Jack Swole, let's see. Shakir says, does overdoing cardio lead to muscle loss? Only if you're going crazy, like running 10 miles a day. A reasonable amount of cardio, 20, 30, 40 minutes a day max. Along with a good diet, you'll be absolutely fine. What's the best workout routine for max muscle gains? Any routine that I put together, or any routine that Marc Lobliner puts together. We got tons of great workouts on Tiger Fitness. Routines don't matter as much as how you work the routines. All the workouts on Tiger Fitness are good workouts. You just have to apply them properly and go balls to the walls and make them work. So, Hulkamaniac says, BCAAs and HMBs, do they help stabilize muscle loss? We got some really good information over at Tiger Fitness on BCAAs. We got the complete guide to BCAAs. I recommend reading that and checking that out. Forax says, I have a question regarding creatine monohydrate. Is it a must for muscle building? And what are your thoughts on creatine loading? Is it a must? No. Is it a good idea? Yes. Creatine is the most well-researched supplement outside of whey protein, and it is proven to help increase power and energy. It is inexpensive. I consider it a great option. Do you need to front load it? No. Do you need to just stick? But you do need to make sure that you have enough creatine. The creatine found in pre-workouts is generally not enough. Let's see, what do you think of Tribulus? I tried it once, and I actually found some benefit from it. There's some research on it that says it's not, there's some research on there that says it's not a great option. I ran it. That was the first test booster I ever ran, and I noticed some benefit, but I had extremely low tests. So let's see, cardio before or after training. Cardio always after resistance training. You want to do your resistance training when you are physically most capable. You don't want to weaken or fatigue yourself going into compound movements in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. I gotta show this comment. Let's see. I've developed food anhedonia. I cannot stick to my diet. Plus, I like spicy foods a lot, but eating too much gives me anal pain when pooping, plus stomach burn. Let's see. I don't even know where to take that one. If you can't stick to your diet, you just need to stick to your diet. You need to take small steps every day to stick to your diet. If you're eating too much and it's giving you pain, you need to, you probably need to go see a doctor. All right, guys, that's it for Tiger Fitness Live today. Just a reminder, upright bars are coming back very, very soon. If we missed your question, head over to Tiger Fitness. You can post questions on any articles, or head over to the Tiger Fitness Facebook group and thank it out. We appreciate you guys' support. I'm Steve Shaw, Editorial Director at TigerFitness.com.